Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Arizona.
We're in San Diego, a return visit with the Padres after the D-backs won 2 of 3 against them at Chase Field last weekend. We don't see the Padres again after this until the middle of September, so a chance to do some damage here this weekend against a San Diego team that is struggling as of late, having lost 12 of its last 18. It's the Diamondbacks in San Diego right now on Fox Sports Arizona. And good evening from Petco Park. Welcome to the broadcast. Steve Berthune, Bob Brenly along the way. The Diamondbacks and the Padres, the first of 3. Bob, I would say we just saw these guys last weekend back at home, but I'm not sure in terms of their starter Tyson Ross that the Diamondbacks ever really saw Tyson Ross the last time they faced him.
They certainly didn't swing at pitches like they saw him very well. Tyson Ross is a really, really tough customer when his mechanics are good and he's getting out over that front leg, extending on that slider. It's one of the most unhittable pitches in all of baseball. Has so much downward movement. It's equally effective against righties and lefties. Now, we're told that occasionally his mechanics get out of whack. I don't know. I don't believe it.
He went all the way last time, a 4-hitter. Why is this slider so hard to hit?
Because it goes straight down to the ground. It more resembles a 12-6 curveball than a slider, but he throws it as hard as a lot of guys' slider. With that downward movement, it's just very tough, first of all, to make any kind of contact, and certainly to make good contact. It's almost impossible.
Well, he doesn't always throw them for strikes, so we'll see the Diamondbacks hitters hopefully try and lay off some pitches out of the zone this time. He's up against Robbie Ray, who's pitched very well so far.
Yeah, Robbie's really on a nice roll, pitching with a lot of confidence. You can just tell by his body language on the mound, pounding away at that outside corner with that mid-90s fastball, and for the most part, keeping the ball down.
So for the second time in less than a week, the Diamondbacks will face big Tyson Ross and that nasty slider. Some reflections on Ross and what to do here in the return bout at Petco Park. Coming up next, you're watching Diamondbacks baseball only on Fox Sports Arizona. Arizona is brought to you in part by Cox Gigablast. How will you live the gig life? By Lone Butte Casino. You're in for more. Only at Jack in the Box.
And our exclusive coverage of Diamondbacks baseball continues here on the road from Petco Park in San Diego. The Diamondbacks and the Padres. Steve and Bob have the call that's coming up in just a matter of moments. I'm Todd Walsh here inside a very spirited Arizona Diamondbacks dugout. Been talking about Tyson Ross all night long on Diamondbacks Live, the pregame show. And just moments ago with Steve and Bob, great look at him and that slider. But as Chip Hale was saying earlier today, maybe the key is pitch recognition. I brought that to the table inside the clubhouse earlier this afternoon.
It's tough to pick up out of his hand. It looks similar to his fastball, and that's why he gets so many swing and misses on it out of the zone. But he does a good job, locating it too. So he makes it look like it's going to be in the zone, and then it kind of breaks out. Or sometimes when he uses it behind the count, he can throw it for a strike too, and throw a little harder, a little softer.
It's a good one. It's one of the better ones I've seen, and that's what everyone else says. So, like I said, you just got to see it and make him throw that pitch for a strike.
Love what Jake Lamb added after that sequence there. He just said, just trust the process. Trust yourself and your preparation when you get inside that batter's box. So the drama will unveil before our very eyes. We'll see how the Diamondbacks do against him and how the Padres handle Robbie Ray. Oh, by the way, a couple of familiar foes. National League West rivals, regional rivals, Diamondbacks, Padres. Steve and Bob have the call. Game 1 is coming up next.
Arizona Ford, starting pitcher for the Padres, a complete game 4 hitter over the weekend at Chase Field against the Diamondbacks, but that it was just his second win in 7 starts, and despite what we saw Saturday, he has had inconsistent results with these 3 pitches. After all, no pitcher in the major leagues has walked more batters this year than Tyson Ross.
And he throws the slider more often than any other pitch. Four-seam fastball used to be a good weapon for him, but he felt like he was getting hit too hard with that pitch, couldn't command it. So basically, he's slider, 2-seam fastball.
Diamondbacks, winners of 8 of their last 13. The lineup tonight for Chip Hale.
A.J. Pollock at the top of the order, out in center field. David Peralta in left field. Paul Goldschmidt with good numbers against the Padres. We say that against everybody. Yasmani Tomas out in right field. Jake Lamb at third base. Wellington Castillo doing the catching. Chris Owings and Nick Ahmed make up the double play combo in the middle, and left-hander Robbie Ray on the mound.
A.J. Pollock set to lead it off against Tyson Ross. Quinn Wolcott is our plate umpire. We are underway, the first of 3 in San Diego. They're in strike 1. A.J. 307, the batting average that ranks him top 10 in the National League. And I'm very happy to report there is no rain here today.
It's a good thing because I don't even know if there's a tarp in this ballpark.
Gorgeous day here. A ball and 2 strikes. A.J. 5 for 14 in the series at Coors Field, including a home run, his 9th of the year. And that, of course, is a new career high. David Peralta in the 2-hole tonight against the right-hander Tyson Ross. The one-hopper to Clint Barmas at shortstop. He's stretched by Alonso, and they retire Pollock to lead off the ball game. Look at the Padres defensively tonight around their big right-hander.
Double Upton tonight. Justin in left, Melvin Jr. in center. Matt Kemp, the new leadoff hitter, over in right field. It'll be Middlebrooks and Barmas on the left side of the infield. Spangenberg and Alonso on the right side. Derek Norris possibly headed for the All-Star game behind the plate today for right-hander Tyson Ross.
David Peralta. Padres put the shift on for Peralta. 3 defenders on the right-hand side with Spangenberg out in shallow right. There's a strike, 1-1. David hitting just over 260 with 5 homers. That one almost airmailed the catcher, Derek Norris, back there.
95 on that fastball. Tyson Ross feels like he's a much more complete pitcher, throwing the 2-seam fastball slider combination. Both pitches move down toward the ground, gets more grounders. Pitches he's able to command a little bit better than that 4-seam fastball.
Three balls and a strike. Goldie on deck. And they're at 94. It's full 3-2. Chip Hale told us he wants his hitters tonight to lay off the ball down low because it is going to break out of the strike zone. Good job right there. Ross just missed, and Peralta draws a 1-out walk. And that has become the game plan for every team in the league when facing Tyson Ross. And a little inside as well.
Off the plate inside.
So here's Goldie. Goldie at the start of play today, tied with the Indians' Jason Kipnis for the major league lead in hitting. Kipnis, the former Sun Devil, having a big season in Cleveland. Strike 1. And Goldie leading the National League in runs, walks, and on-base percentage. He is getting on base this year at a remarkable 473 clip, or basically just about half the time he's up there.
Almost half the time.
Ross is ahead, no balls and 2 strikes. One hopper right to Spangenberg at second. Barmes tries to turn 2, and there is the double play. And Ross is out of the first. Just underway at Petco Park in San Diego. Robbie Ray up next. Ford, starting pitcher for the Diamondbacks. Robbie Ray, a loss to these Padres last Saturday at Chase Field, now gets the ball in a return bout here at Petco Park. Here's Chip Hill.
He just has the electric fastball. We'd like to see him throw his breaking ball and change up more and to better locations. I think once he starts doing that, he's going to become even more dominant. But his fastball's been great. It's got late life, and hitters are showing us by the way they're swinging and missing that his stuff is good.
And here is Matt Kemp. That one misses inside for a ball. The numbers on Robbie this year, the one number to focus on in particular is that ERA, 1.78. That is the lowest ever for a D-backs pitcher over his first 5 starts. That's in the seats, and it's 1-1.
And you heard his manager Chip Hale talk about that electric fastball, and at times it really comes out of his hand sneaky quick to the hitters. We talked about his very smooth delivery out there on the mound, and I think hitters are occasionally surprised by that electric fastball.
Too electric that time, maybe.
That was
slider.
Or hand crank that time. Yeah, that was either a slider or a changeup that got out of his hand. Didn't even come close.
Well, if you're wondering why is Matt Kemp leading off, so are a lot of people. He's at 243 and 5 homers. He homered in their loss at San Francisco yesterday. Off the fist, a little jam shot pop up. Goldie in foul ground has it. And that's the first out. Just Kemp's 3rd start in the leadoff spot for the Padres. Pat Murphy shaking things up.
He's trying to shake it up. Kemp at the top. Derek Norris doing the catching, batting second. Yonder Alonso down at first. Justin Upton with good numbers against his former team. He'll be out in left field. Will Middlebrooks at third base. Clint Barmes at shortstop tonight. Melvin Upton Jr. out in center field with Corey Spangenberg at second base. And the big right-hander Tyson Ross on the mound.
There's the view from Pat Murphy's perch in the Padre dugout along with bench coach Dave Roberts. The catcher Derek Norris. And there for strike 1. Norris hitting .246 with 9 homers. And that 9th homer came against Robbie Ray last weekend at Chase Field. This is what it looked like. One of the few mistakes that Robbie really made in that ballgame, if you want to call it a mistake.
Yeah, it really was out over the plate and down. Not a horrible pitch. You'd like to think that most hitters will roll over and hit a ground ball to the left side, but Norris was able to barrel it up and hit it out to left field.
The 0-2 misses at 95. Norris slumping badly right now. 4 for his last 39 up there. By the way, BB, I'm told there is some kind of beer festival going on all around us here this weekend in the Gaslamp District.
How about that?
And apparently in the ballpark as well.
Yeah, the park out in center field, the park at the park here at Petco. It's been going on all afternoon.
Could get interesting. 2-2. Bouncer to Goldie. It went right by him. He didn't even have to move that time, but it eluded the glove, and Norris is aboard.
Hard 2-hopper. That last hop really came up. Goldie just tried to play it on the backhand side. Normally he would get in front of that ball, but that little bit of a bad hop got it over the glove and into right field for the first base hit of the game.
Yeah, they put a hit on the board there for Norris. Oh, now we're being told E3. So stay tuned. Scorer is saying one thing, the scoreboard operator is saying another. So stand by. Another shot of the beer fest here, as Yonder Alonso steps in against the lefty Robbie Ray. Shift is on. He hits away from the shift, and that's in the gap in left center field. Norris is on the run. They're waving him home. Here's the relay, and it is cut off. They've got Alonso hung up. And look at Goldie right in the middle of that rundown. 1-0 Padres. The RBI for Alonso.
Absolutely blasted in the gap in left center field. Fastball up and out over the plate. Alonso, usually a dead pull hitter, stayed on that one nicely. Saw David Peralta call off A.J. Pollock. The relay is going to be too late to get Derek Norris at home, so Goldie wisely cuts it off, but in the ensuing rundown, it turned into a fire drill. Fortunately, they were able to get the out.
So a run is in. 2 down, nobody on for Justin Upton. So they have taken the hit away from Norris and put an error on the scoreboard. So E3 for Norris. Double and an RBI for Yonder Alonso.
It's one of those that could possibly be talked over after the game is over. The conscientious official scorekeeper will go down and talk to the players, and talk to the managers, and talk to the umpires to make sure they get the calls right. I'm not saying that shouldn't have been an error, but I bet Derek Norris wants that hit.
So the Padres, whose offense is struggling lately, they're 12th in the 15-team National League in hitting, but they have a 1-0 lead. 2-1 on Upton. There's a strike. Upton leading the Padres in homers and RBIs. A tired catcher on that Padre bench. He also leads them in strikeouts, and that ends the bottom of the first. But San Diego strikes first. They lead it 1-0. 20 and 3 homers. He made his major league debut right here at Petco Park. This is where the Diamondbacks were playing when he was called up on April 15th from Reno.
It seems like a long time ago when Yasmani Tomas was called up to be a pinch hitter. Just sit around and kind of absorb the atmosphere and get comfortable with his new teammates. Well, he got comfortable in a hurry.
He grounded out in his first career at bat against Brandon Morrow as a pinch hitter in the 7th inning. Now that's been one of his more interesting things, Bob. He has seemed very comfortable in the time that he's been here. He's ahead on Tyson Ross, 3-0.
Yeah, it's not uncommon to see a guy come up from the minor leagues and have that deer in the headlights look for, the better part of a month or more until they kind of settle in and get acclimated to the whole environment up here at the big leagues. But Yasmani looks like he belongs from day one.
Yeah, Chip Hale was talking about Yasmani Tomas before the ballgame, said they just love his attitude. It's been a real upside for them. Well, we told you no pitcher in baseball has walked more batters than Tyson Ross. He's already got 2 bases on balls, and here's Jake Lamb coming up.
I really think that's going to be the plan of attack against him tonight. Be very, very selective early in the count and try to at least get yourself in a good hitter's count, possibly take a base on balls.
Well, these will be interesting at bats with Jake Lamb, who's up there at 273. He had a tough time with Tyson Ross when he faced him Saturday at Chase Field.
Yeah, he got a belly full of those sliders. It started on the inside part of the plate, about mid-thigh, looked like really hittable strikes, and by the time he swung at them, they were in the dirt near his back foot.
Yeah, 3 strikeouts against
him. Did it repeatedly. Just didn't ever seem to pick up the spin on that slider.
Well, he's ahead 1-0. And you mentioned the plan. I mean, Chip told us today there is a very specific plan laid out by Turner Ward on how to approach Tyson Ross tonight, and we'll see how it works here. But it does come down essentially to one simple point. The more times these younger Diamondback hitters see Ross, the more they'll get used to him and adjust their approach. But lay off the low stuff. There goes Yasmani Tomas. The throw from Norris is in time. They apply the tag, and Yasmani caught stealing for the 2nd time this year. Derek Norris has thrown out more attempted base stealers than any catcher in baseball, and we just saw why.
Actually had a pretty good jump over there, but Norris was moving his body, getting turned so that by the time he caught that ball, he was ready to unload it.
And now the Padres will adjust their defensive shift with Tomas caught stealing. They overload the right-hand side. 2 balls and a strike to Lamb. In there, 2-2.
Hey fans, anytime the D-backs score 5 runs or more, Taco Bell is giving away 3 free tacos with the purchase of a large drink between 4 and 6 the following day at participating locations.
Called strike 3. First strikeout for Tyson Ross. Sometimes when you try to lay off that stuff, he's going to drop it in the zone, I guess.
I just had a flashback to Steve Carlton when he was pitching for the Philadelphia Phillies. I faced him a lot, and it seems like he would throw that slider, and if you laid off, it would stay in the strike zone like that last one to Jake Lamb, and if you swung at it, it would end up at your back foot. It was almost like Lefty could control it after he let it go.
So we'll see if the patient approach works here with Wellington Castillo.
Mentioned part of the learning process, facing a pitcher twice in a week, and especially a guy that dominated the way Tyson Ross did. And the same thing goes for every pitcher that you face over the course of the season. Good lesson for the young hitters to start developing their own books. How did he pitch me last time? Did he pitch me differently with guys on base than with nobody on base? So that when you go up there to the plate, with passing time and more games and more at-bats under your belt, you'll have a much better idea of what opposing pitchers are going to try to do to get you out.
1-2. Tyson Ross says he has noticed this year that hitters are just a little more patient with him now, and he believes that because his slider is such a dominant pitch for him, he throws it all the time, that hitters are simply more aware of it and they're trying to lay off like we've talked about. And because of that, he's finding himself behind in counts more often this year. There's a bouncer to third base. Middlebrooks was there. And that's the end of the inning. Diamondbacks trail the Padres 1-0 in San Diego. Alex Morgan and Team USA will take on the Germans with a trip to the final on the line. Coverage begins Tuesday at 3 o'clock Pacific time, only on your local Fox station and streaming live on Fox Sports Go after that thrilling win today against China. Carly Lloyd scored in the 51st minute. Everybody here in the ballpark was watching it in the press room. And so now they go on to take face Germany on Tuesday, 3 o'clock on Fox. Scored the game's only goal. U.S. beat China 1-0. Sedona ran in the house as Will Middlebrooks leads off the second against Robbie Ray. Middlebrooks 228 and 9 homers. Three-game series at Chase last weekend. He was hitless 0 for 9. Two balls and a strike. This is there. It's 3-1. Robbie going to start against these Padres last Saturday. Lost for the first time, or pardon me, for the first time as a Diamondback, gave up more than 2 earned runs in a start. 5 2/3, 7 strikeouts. And he was pitching really well. He allowed just 2 runs through the first 5 innings, but ran into trouble in the 6th. Clint Barmas, who's starting tonight again, had a 2-out RBI double in that 6th inning. As Robbie was not able to complete 6 for only the second time this year, but that pitch to Barmas really burned him. It's a fly ball out to Tomas in right field. He's got room near the track. 1 away. And Robbie said afterwards, you know, he was just mad at himself. Couldn't get over the fact that he gave up that 2-out RBI double to Barmas and not get through that inning. And he never did finish off that inning. So he said, now he's 23. That's something that comes with time, the ability to get over that and get past that frustration and stay in the moment out there.
Yeah, very valuable learning lesson, hopefully, for Robbie Ray. You know, the only important pitch is the next one. You can't bring him back.
And here is Barmes. The veteran hitting .291. He's got a pair of home runs. I imagine that's something, Bob, a lot of young pitchers go through, where they pitch well and make one mistake and suddenly a win turns into a loss, and they're not able to get past it out there on the mound while they're still in the game.
Especially guys just getting their professional career started. They've come from a high school or a college program where they were the most dominant pitcher on the staff and used to having their way with opposing lineups and executing pitches with ease, and then suddenly the hitters in the box are just as good as you, and you make a mistake, you get hurt, and you learn to eliminate those mistakes or at least minimize the mistakes.
So he's ahead of Barmes this time, 1-2. There's that consistent mid-90s fastball we've seen from Robbie all year. Fly ball center field. A.J. Pollock is out there.
Actually witnessed this live. Fan made a pretty nice catch up here just to our right below the press box. Stood up, made a nice two-handed grab right there. Hang on.
That came right at him.
Yeah. Probably won't be able to get his wedding ring off after the ball game, but that was a heck of a catch.
Melvin Upton Jr. getting the start in center field tonight. And only 15 games with the Padres so far, hitting just under 180 with one home run. And the one homer came last weekend at Chase Field against Addison Reed. Ground ball to Ahmed at shortstop. Troubles it up behind the bag, and Robbie Ray has retired 4 in a row. Diamondbacks trail at 1-0. Comfort of Chase Field as the Diamondbacks take on the Rockies, and then after the game the roof opens up. The post-game fireworks spectacular presented by Gila River Casinos. Get your 4th of July tickets right now at dbacks.com. Tyson Ross, after he dominated the Diamondbacks last weekend at Chase Field, said one key there, he was trying to attack hitters with an emphasis on getting the leadoff guy out in every inning. And Chris Owings leads off the 3rd here. He got Pollock to ground out to begin the ball game. He walked Yasmani Tomas to start the second. And now he's 1-on-1 on Chris Owings to start the third. What about that idea, Bob?
Oh, I think it's a tremendous idea, depending on who the leadoff hitter is. Obviously, if Goldie's leading off the inning, you're going to pitch him a lot more carefully, and you may lose him from time to time via base on balls. But in general, that's just good inning management. Anytime you can retire that leadoff guy, it limits what the opposing manager can do as far as hitting and running or stealing a base. Ryan Dempster, when he was with the Chicago Cubs, used to talk about inning management all the time. Look at the scheduled hitters up in the next inning, figure out who are the guys that give you trouble, who are the guys you feel you can get out easily, and then plan your inning accordingly. Pitch carefully to the guys that hurt you and go right after the guys you think you can get out.
He's fallen behind and worked it full on Owings here to lead off the third, 3-2. He's already walked 2 in the ball game, leading the majors in walks. Nick Ahmed will be next. And it is in the dirt, and he's walked 3. So patience already slowly kind of paying off here for the Diamondbacks.
Well, if nothing else, they're running up some pitch count on Tyson Ross, making him throw a lot of pitches to get to that 4-ball count.
So he's only 1 for 3 in terms of retiring the leadoff man in each inning. And here's Nick Ahmed at .235 and 4 homers. The batting average is the highest it's been for Nick all year. Nick has hit safely in 3 straight games, 5 of his last 6. Really good at bats lately. And as we mentioned yesterday when we were at Coors Field, Nick Ahmed, a guest on the latest episode of D-Backs podcast, which is now available at dbacks.com. Or on iTunes. We did about a 20-minute interview with Nick talking about all kinds of different things. He was a terrific guest, and we want to thank him again for his participation. But that's up there on the old interweb if you want to have a listen after the ball game. The 0-1.
Let's take a look at our Valley Honda keys to the ball game tonight. See it. It's all we've heard from Diamondbacks hitters and Turner Ward. See the ball, pick up the rotation before you commit to swing at it. And more daylight, that means put more daylight between ourselves and the team that's chasing us in the National League West, which happens to be these Padres. 1.5 lead over the Padres going into play tonight.
Yeah, there you go. They are 5 under 500. Dodgers, as we mentioned, won tonight. They beat the Marlins in Miami. Giants a 1.5 back, and the Diamondbacks in third. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Nick Ahmed. Owings the runner at first. And Nick chases one that time out of the zone, and that's the second strikeout for Tyson Ross.
That's a scene that we saw far too often at Chase Field in Tyson Ross's last start. You see every pitch was up and in except for the last one, that slider in the dirt low and away. Very tough to recognize, especially after you've had 3 pitches up and in.
Well, here's Robbie Ray, who's been a very good bunter so far this year. Middlebrooks well in on the grass at third. Creeping into your picture on the left-hand side of the screen. He pops the bunt back up foul. And it's 0-1. Already 4 sacrifice bunts this year for Robbie. This is just his 6th start this season. Tries a little half-hearted swing at that one. He's down 0-2.
Most teams give their hitter the freedom to pull the bat back and take a swing at it if he feels the corner infielders are charging too hard and it's not going to be a percentage play to get a bunt down in front of him. Just pull that bat back, take a very abbreviated swing, and try to punch it by one of those corner infielders.
Can't get the bunt down, and that's the third strikeout for Ross. 2 down in the third.
I got news for you. That Tyson Ross slider is tough to hit. It's also tough to bunt.
Has to be, right? With all that movement on it?
Yeah.
So 2 down, Owing still at first. Here's A.J. Pollock. Here's a look.
That was actually a fastball down. Should have been a much easier pitch to bunt. I thought it was a slider. Misidentified it right there. But point taken. That's a tough pitch to get any part of the bat on in any circumstance.
A.J. grounded out to shortstop his first time. AJ was joking with the writers about a recent article talking about his scouting reports when he was a collegian coming out of Notre Dame. And he was labeled by some scouts as a low ceiling player. And Goldie was sitting there. He kind of overheard and laughed. And Goldie just said, yeah, if you consider being an all-star a low ceiling, I guess that's true. He's certainly playing like one. There goes Chris Owings. The throw from Norris, who's already thrown out Tomas, is not in time. And Owings is in there with his 8th stolen base.
Garcia stole that base easily that time. Would have liked to seen him on the move during the Nick Ahmed at bat. Then you could have used Robbie Ray to possibly bunt him up to third base, but he's at second now in scoring position with 2 outs in the inning.
And a 2-0 count on Pollock. Reno. Peralta on deck, Goldie after him.
You know, if you do enough searching, you can find bad scouting reports on just about anybody.
Oh, I bet.
We love those scouts, and they have a very, very tough job. And I know a lot of scouts, and I know a few of them that are just straight clowns.
The guy that wrote your report, maybe?
I never saw a scouting report. I didn't know there were scouting reports when I was coming through college. But, you know, like I said, I know a lot of these guys. You know a lot of the scouts, and most of them are very conscientious, very hard workers for their organization. And then other guys, yeah, what do you got on this guy? And then they just copy it down and turn it into their team.
It's a tough job to predict the future, especially in this game, which requires a long apprenticeship for even the best collegiate players. 4th walk of the ball game issued by Tyson Ross. So we're seeing now over the course of the game that patient approach pay off for the Diamondbacks, and now you got to cash in with a big hit.
Yeah, that's the key. I mean, you're going to draw some base on balls against Tyson Ross if you take this patient approach, but at some point you'd like to see somebody square one up and hit it in the gap and chase home some of those base on balls.
Well, Ross has essentially done away with his 4-seam fastball. He's throwing sinkers and sliders, and that's about it. Pitches with more movement on them almost all the time. But even with that change, the number of pitches he throws in the strike zone is about the same as it's always been. It's not that he's more wild than before. It's that the hitters have adjusted, and they're starting to lay off those sinkers and those sliders that stray outside the strike zone. And as a result, you get the higher walk totals. And the Diamondbacks trying to make that plan work for them here tonight. One almost hit Peralta. You get very little straight from Tyson Ross. Everything's got some kind of movement on it.
Brandon Webb was that way when he was pitching for the Diamondbacks. Guys just didn't even like to play catch with Webby in the outfield because everything was dipping and darting and moving. Can't you throw the ball straight?
That's in there.
Not the radical downward movement we've seen on Tyson Ross sliders. That one a little more human.
Well, some guy, we always hear the term a baby slider. Yeah, kind of a little baby slider, less bite on it, I guess. That one bit Peralta, 1-2 now.
You take some of the, change your grip just slightly to take some of that over the top rotation off the slider and make it a little more of a lateral pitch that you can keep in the strike zone. And that's the one you have to be ready for.
Well, Ross right now at 50 pitches. And the numbers reflect what we've been talking about, 27 strikes and 23 balls. So not very efficient at all out there. But he's ahead of Peralta, 1-2. Just not the same guy that we saw last weekend, thank goodness. Another full count. He's already walked 4. You see that guy get a shot with the bases loaded here. One more ball. Chris Owings is at second. A.J. Pollock at first. 2 outs, 3-2 to David Peralta. There go the runners, and look at Chris Owings. He caught Ross sound asleep out there and stole a base. The shift is on, of course. Middlebrooks is the only guy over there. And no one was near the third base bag.
Yeah, CO took a look over his right shoulder, realized there's nobody at third base, and there's no way they can outrun me to that bag. He was going to be running on the pitch anyway, 3-2 with 2 outs, but why not go ahead, steal the bag? Maybe you get Tyson Ross to balk out there. Maybe he throws the ball away. Very alert.
And second in this inning, and 9th on the year. So they're on the corners now with 2 outs, 3-2 to Peralta. There goes A.J., and it's ball 4. The bases are loaded for Goldie.
When you talk about inning management, this is not exactly what a pitching coach would have in mind. Walk 3 guys in front of Paul Goldschmidt.
5 walks, and 5 walks in 2 2/3 innings, by the way, ties his season high, and he's already thrown 24 pitches in this inning.
Boy, this is a danger zone here now. As a pitching coach, Darren Balsley goes out there. Hey, just settle down, just jump ahead. Hey, throw that first pitch strike in there.
Ambush.
Ooh, one of the best first ball hitters in all of baseball.
Well, the Diamondbacks are 1 swing away here from having Turner Ward's plan pay off big time. Be patient up there with this guy, but let's see if Goldie gets something he can get a hold of here. Bases loaded, 2 outs. And he gets that strike one.
That's a good take, though. That sinking fastball, outside corner at the knees. That's probably just going to turn into a ground ball. Knowing the way Goldie hits, it might be a ground ball up the middle for an RBI, but that's not what he's looking for. He wants to do big damage.
Found Norris, can't find it. It bounced in the left-hand batter's box, but Owings stays put at third.
That slider in the dirt.
I'd say that one was out of the zone.
Yeah.
He is really gripping out there right now. Goldie has homered twice in his career against Tyson Ross. Batting over .330 against him. He hit into a double play his first time up tonight. He's off that fastball upstairs, and it's 2 balls and a strike. How about that? Patience. Ross, 28 strikes, 28 balls. Two 1 pitch. Misses again. 3-1. He's already walked 3 in this inning.
3-1, normally a predictable fastball count, but not against Tyson Ross. He throws his slider more than he throws his fastball, so no guarantee you're going to get a heater right here. He did get one, though. Found it straight back. Best pitch of the sequence right there. That was his best chance to do something until this pitch.
3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. The bases are loaded. Tyson Ross and Paul Goldschmidt. There go the runners. Goldie hits it into center field. Owing scores. Here comes Pollock. Peralta running hard is in at third, and it's 2-1 Diamondbacks. You got the walks, now you got the big hit.
Big sequence in the ball game here for Goldie and Tyson Ross. He painted the outside corner with that first sinker and then missed with the slider in the dirt. Norris very fortunately knocked it down. Then he struggled to find the zone with 3 straight fastballs up above the letters. And then finally gets another fastball in the outside corner with that huge hole up the middle of the field. Barma shading toward the hole between third and short. Goldie rolled it into center field for a couple RBIs.
A chance now for Yasmani Tomas, who walked his first time up. A bouncer to Barmas. He's got to charge it. Tomas hard up the line, but he's out at first. That's the inning. But the Diamondbacks get 3 walks and a big Goldie single. They take a 2-1 lead.
Got him rested, got him well. All the exams are showing that whether it's elbow, shoulder, everything is looking good. I actually happened to see him throw a bullpen over at Salt River and was very impressed. When he pitched in the game, I mean, he averaged 93, so everything is all indications, but he still, he doesn't feel quite right, and this is the time to be sure everything's 100%.
Tony La Russa before the game. Steve and Bob, just quickly on the Archie Bradley story that obviously broke later this afternoon. Archie Bradley seeking a second opinion on his shoulder. Wants to see Dr. James Andrews, as Jack Magruder tweeted from FoxSportsArizona.com. Remember, the initial prognosis was no structural damage. Dave Stewart saying we're not seeing anything to be alarmed about, but there may be something there. So Story will be chasing, no doubt, about Archie Bradley right now. He left Reno, as we reported, over the last day or so after his last start, Steve.
Thank you, Todd. That created quite a buzz around the ballpark here today. Jack Magruder tweeted those comments out from GM Dave Stewart. Tony La Russa, as we just saw, is here on the trip this weekend. Robbie Ray 2-2 on Corey Spangenberg, who leads off the Padre third. Robbie has retired 4 straight so far. A Goldie error at first base and a Yonder Alonso double. The only damage against Robbie Ray. Patrick Corbin will follow up on the theme here, making a rehab start tonight. And it's going pretty well. 1 earned run, 4 hits. He's worked 6, 2 walks, and 5 strikeouts.
Bay Bears tied up 2-2 in that ball game in the bottom of the 6th inning.
It's good. Patrick, 79 pitches through 6 innings, 50 strikes. Those are very good numbers. Three and two on Spangenberg, just under 240 with 2 homers. Off the fist, and he dunks it into left. Second hit for the Padres against Robbie Ray. He just fought that one off.
Spangenberg, even though the numbers wouldn't indicate it, he looks like he's going to be a hitter as he moves forward in his career. He reminds you a little bit of Nick Ahmed in the way their careers kind of got started. You know, both the defense first guys that really struggled a little bit offensively, and Spangenberg hangs in there tough against lefties, keeps that bat in the zone for a long time, and he's moving up the ladder much like Nick is.
Jake Lamb will come in on the grass at third. Here's the pitcher, Tyson Ross. Spangenberg is a good base runner. Got to be careful over there, and Robbie Ray almost throws it away. Spangenberg does have 5 stolen bases this year. He's got a pretty good pedigree, Bob. He was the 10th overall pick in the draft 4 years ago by the Padres out of Indian River Community College in Florida. Actually drafted only 3 spots after the Diamondbacks took Archie Bradley in the draft. So they expected big things when they took him. Down there with first base coach Jose Valentin. Ross trying to get a bunt down, and Ray is behind 2-0. Glenn Hoffman at third. Ross only 1 sacrifice bunt all year. He's a little more of a hitter up there than you see in some other pitchers. There's his strike. Comes Lamb from third. Time is granted at the last moment there by Quinn Wolk at the plate umpire. Matt Kemp, the new leadoff man, is in the on-deck circle. That's been an interesting twist. Just the 3rd time that Kemp has been the leadoff man this year. Now Ross drops down a bunt. The play is to first. Ray is on it, and they move the runner along. Here's Padres skipper Pat Murphy on his new leadoff man, Matt Kemp.
I've explained over the last few days, you know, our thinking is he's going to hit one more time, and that helps his getting on track. And I like sending him to play. He represents us first. He goes to the plate first, and it's his mentality and his AB first. We don't have the prototypical leadoff hitter, obviously, that so get him up there and set the tone.
Well, they have tried. Now, keep in mind, they've had 2 managers, Bud Black and now Murphy, but they have tried here in San Diego 7 different leadoff hitters this season. And this is Kemp's 3rd start in the leadoff spot. It just started this week.
There's 5 different leadoff hitters just since Pat Murphy took over.
The mad scientist. There you go. Melvin Upton Jr. Guy can't even get on base. I don't know how you make him the leadoff man. That doesn't seem like a great idea.
Solarte, he's a 7th or 8th hitter in the lineup at best, or a 2 hitter if you have a guy in that leadoff spot that gets on a lot.
But this is the first time that Kemp has hit leadoff since 2010, and he'll need a moment here to walk that one off.
Boy, given his injury history, that could send him to the bench for a week or more. Bang that right off the inside of his left ankle. No guard, no protection whatsoever.
Well, Kemp said they asked him first before they did it about hitting leadoff, and he said he's fine with it, no problem with it at all. But Murphy was non-committal about how long this whole Kemp leadoff guy thing is going to go. He said, look, it's not a one-game thing, and it's not an entire season thing. It's somewhere in between. You just can't look that far ahead.
We got into town last night from Colorado, and they had a replay of the Padres-Giants game on. Crazy game yesterday. Those guys back and forth, but looked like the Giants' game plan against Kemp was to pound him inside. Pitches on the inside corner of the plate and farther inside really tied him up, and that's right where Wellington Castillo goes.
It's funny because that's where he had a lot of success last year during the second half of the season in LA. He was crushing balls on the inner half of the plate once that shoulder was finally healthy. 1-1 pitch. This is check the location of this pitch. He hit his 5th of the season at San Francisco yesterday.
This one, I think it is. It was inside, but it was down where he could golf it. Hit it out there in the Kale field. Right off the top of the fence in center.
Yeah, they set up, it looked like, down and away. Kemp ahead, 2 balls and a strike. Spangenberg, the runner at second, 1 out.
Guess it depends on who's trying to pound him inside. Robbie Ray can pound guys inside with his fastball.
Yeah, that homer for Kemp is 4th in his last 18 games. He's picked up the power pace a bit lately, but still lagging well behind what you'd think he'd have.
Out in front of a changeup that time.
So we'll see where they go here on 2-2. You can see Wellington Castillo looking into the dugout. There goes Spangenberg for third. Kemp strikes out, and they throw it into left field. Ahmed was backing up. It got behind him, and Spangenberg will score to tie the ball game. It got through Lamb. Nick Ahmed was where he was supposed to be, backing up to play, but somehow it got by Nick as well and rolled into left.
That ball deflected off of Jake Lamb, perhaps down there at third base, because as you said, Nick Ahmed was in good position. He's hustling over there. Yeah, it looked like it just tipped off of Jake's glove enough to change the direction, and Nick couldn't hit the brakes and change his direction quickly enough. David Peralta right there backing it up, charges that ball hard, but unfortunately Spangenberg just outruns the throw to the plate.
So they scored a stolen base for Spangenberg, his 6th this season, E2. The error on Castillo on the throw allows him to score from third, and it's a 2-2 ball game. So that's so far 2 Diamondback errors, and they've both led to Padre runs. The error on Goldie, the second batter of the game, Norris, and the error right there on the throw by Wellington Castillo. And that's not something you'll see a lot of watching the Diamondbacks. Norris reached on that Goldie error and scored back in the first. It was a hard smash right to Goldie. He didn't even have to move, but looked like it might have taken a funny hop on. Went just right by his glove. Base hit. That rolls all the way to the wall in left center field, and Derek Norris, who's been a doubles machine so far this year, is in with number 20 on the season.
Looks like the pitch was up a little bit. Belt high out over the plate for Norris. Boy, he takes a quick swing. That reminds me a little of Evan Gattis. Quick, aggressive, violent swing that he takes.
Well, that snapped a 4 for 40 for Norris. He's in scoring position with 2 outs for Yonder Alonso. Alonso, an RBI double his first time up. He hit it right to the same spot that Norris just hit that ball. And Alonso is a guy who hits left-hand pitching. Little dribbler to third. Lamb was back. Let it roll. Let it roll. Come on, ball. That's a base hit. It's like talking to a putt.
Yeah. Same guy hit that ball that hit the one in the gap that bounced off the fence.
Swing and bunt.
Grown man hit that ball. Boy, if you could only master this. Take a full swing and hit the ball about 45 feet up the third base line. Not even rolling fast enough to go into foul territory.
Well, this is where Robbie Ray has to kind of lock in. Justin Upton is at the plate. They're on the corners with 2 outs, a run already in. And Mike Harkey at the mound. Three hits in this inning for the Padres. Spangenberg single, Norris double. The Alonso swing and bunt. Now it's Upton, who struck out his first time up.
This is one of those situations you were talking about with Robbie Ray being upset with himself in his last outing and letting it carry over. This is where you just have to clear your mind and focus one pitch at a time on the guy standing at the plate, because he's the guy that can do some damage.
His strikeout his first time up tonight was Upton's 11th in his last 22 at-bats.
If he really puts his mind to it, Upton could get to 100 strikeouts by the All-Star break. He's at 82 on the season now.
Well, just got to bear down.
Yeah, got to bear down.
He's been a problem against the team that drafted him. 22 career games versus the Diamondbacks, hitting over .330 with 6 homers. Misses there, and it's 2-0. Derek Norris, the catcher, is the runner at third. Yonder Alonso, not a lot of speed there down at first. And Robbie's behind, 3 balls and no strikes. Middlebrooks is on deck. In the seats.
You know Justin Upton's going to have the green light 3-0, and he got a very hittable pitch right there, got underneath it, fouled it out of play to the right side.
This will be Robbie Ray's 25th pitch of this inning coming up. Three and two.
Get yourself in a situation where you have to challenge that strike zone. He's gotten away with a couple up there around the belt, a couple of foul balls to run the count to full.
Got him, called strike 3. Upton walks away. Third strikeout for Robbie Ray. A beautiful pitch to ring up Upton. His second strikeout of Jay up tonight. But the Padres get a run across. We are tied at 2 in San Diego.
young starting rotation. Instead of teaching one lesson at a time, gather the whole group. If there's something they can all benefit from hearing, you got the starting pitching, Robbie Ray right there. You got Chase Anderson. You got the whole starting rotation right there. Hey, listen, if you find yourself in this situation again, here's what I want you to do. It's easier than calling them aside one at a time.
I like the fire myself. Wakes people up. It's an attention getter. You got Ruby De La Rosa listening there, Alan Webster, the whole group. Nick Harkey between innings. Jake Lamb leads off the fourth against Tyson Ross, who had a 31-pitch third. And he's already over 60 pitches for the ball game. He has tied his season high with 5 bases on balls. He walked 3 in that third inning. 2 of them scored for the Diamondbacks on the Goldie single. Lamb a strikeout victim his first time. 2-2. When was that a strike?
Never.
Jake is thinking the same thing. 4th strikeout for Ross. Wellington Castillo.
Jake Lamb's going to have to figure out something against Tyson Ross. These two are going to bump heads many, many times over the course of their careers in the National League West. And right now, Jake Lamb is 0 for 8 with 8 strikeouts against Tyson Ross.
Little ownage right there. Woo. Well, he grounded out his first time.
Hey fans, when the D-backs win, you win at Papa John's. The day after every Diamondbacks win, you get 50% off your regular menu price online order at Papa John's. Enter promo code DBACKS50 at papajohns.com.
That's a chase. That's what you're supposed to not do. And he knows it. Look.
Yep.
And then he gets a little too patient. You think Ross picked up on that frustration and knew he maybe had a chance to drop one in there?
Well, you never know. I mean, certainly it had to be in the back of Wellington Castillo's mind. Don't swing at a bad slider, and then you end up freezing up on a 91-mile-an-hour sinker in the strike zone.
Dropped that 2-seamer in there. That's a pitch he'll throw all the time as well. 5 strikeouts now. Here's Chris Owings, who walked, stole 2 bases, and scored a run his first time up.
That can be dangerous, though, trying to read a hitter's body language and pitch him accordingly. Pedro Guerrero, when he was playing for the Dodgers, set me up so bad one night.
Pedro was not a Rhodes Scholar.
Oh,
right?
no, but he was baseball smart.
All right.
3-0 count, a couple runners on base. We did have a base open, so we were kind of pitching around him. And Pedro stepped out of the box on the 3-0 pitch and looked down to the third base coach's box. And Joey Amalfitano went through some signs, and Pedro got a look on his face and wiped across his chest like, give me the sign again. And Amalfitano went through some more signs. And Pedro got back in the box kind of muttering under his breath, I can't believe they're making me take 3-0. So being the dumb guy I was, hey, just throw a fastball down the middle. He's taken. Well, the next time we saw that ball, it was rolling through the parking lot at Dodger Stadium. I learned a very valuable lesson that night.
I'm hoping you were a rookie at that point.
Oh, yes.
All right. Sure. That'll work.
I acted like a rookie, yeah.
Full count now on Owings, 3-2. Suckered by Pedro Guerrero.
Yeah, boy, that's not one of the highlights of my career.
Called strike 3. Ross, after that 31-pitch third, strikes out the side in order. Quinn Walcott, I think, missed another one right there. And that's the point that Chris Owings is trying to make here. We'll have it for you here.
Oh, my.
Wow, that's strike 3. Holy Toledo. inning break at home plate in a discussion with plate umpire Quinn Wolcott after this one.
Well, we're asking Quinn Wolcott, what did I ever do to you? Oh, what a horrible pitch. Looks like it was up and in.
So Will Middlebrooks will lead off the Padre fourth against Robbie Ray, coming off that 26-pitch third. Middlebrooks flied out his first time. He's 0 for 1. I mean, you've been back there. You were back there for a million times. You ever have an umpire go, oh, I botched that one?
Oh,
there.
yeah. Back in the day, when I first got started, there were a lot of very, very veteran senior umpires.
Middlebrooks drives one deep to right center field. Yasmani Tomas runs it down. How about that? We've talked a lot about his athleticism out there. It's more than you think it will be. And there's a great example.
He doesn't look like your Drew Stubbs, Devon White kind of an outfielder, but he takes good lines to the ball. He gets good reads off the bat. And Robbie Ray appreciates the effort right there. Middlebrooks thought he had himself an extra base hit. Yasmani Tomas took it away.
Sure looked like at least a double there. One out for Barmes. And Chip Hale was talking about Yasmani Tomas before the ball game today. He was asked about him by some of the writers. And Chip admitted, they kind of, in his words, they kind of stunted his progress by putting him at third base this spring. And they've all been surprised by how quickly he's picked things up and progressed, not just at the plate, but obviously in the field as well.
I think right field is his comfort zone. That's where he's played the most. That's where he's read the ball off the bat. He knows that off that bat of a right-hander, it's going to slice toward the line. A lefty might pull the ball down the corner that'll hook away from him, and he's had great reads on the ball.
Took a great line to that one, too. That was really well hit. 1-2 on Barmes, who flying out to center his first time. Barmes played in 2 of the 3 games between these two teams last weekend at Chase and had a very good series. He was 4 for 8 at the plate with 3 doubles. And he's just under 290 on the year. This one out to center field again. A.J. Pollock has room. Robbie Ray got the fly ball working here tonight. One more look at Yasmani.
Just a couple steps short of the wall out there in right center field. It's a long way to go to get there, but A.J. Pollock was shading on the other side. He had even farther to run, so Yasmani Tomas took it upon himself to get to the spot and make the catch.
Melvin Upton Jr. grounded out to shortstop his first time. Melvin missed the first 58 games of the season with San Diego. He had an inflamed left foot, which he injured on the first day of workouts in spring training this year with Atlanta, and was out all spring into the summer. Didn't make his Padres debut until June 8th. Came here as part of the Craig Kimbrell trade the day before opening day.
Melvin Upton was a you gotta. You want Kimbrell, you gotta take Melvin.
Well, he signed a 5-year, $72.5 million free agent deal and was a total bust with the Braves. And Robbie Ray strikes him out. 4 strikeouts for Robbie. So 1, 2, 3, 4th. We are tied at 2 in San Diego. Sports Arizona is brought to you in part by your Valley Honda dealers, where you'll get more standard features for less money. CenturyLink, your link to what's next. And by Mix One, great taste, no face, available at local retailers. Beautiful Petco Park, right near the Gaslamp District here in San Diego. Steve Berthune, Bob Brenly, Todd Walsh with you. 2-2 Diamondbacks and Padres as we start the 5th inning with Nick Ahmed against Tyson Ross, who struck out the side in order in the last inning with some help from the plate umpire, Quinn Wolcott. The Ross having kind of a wild night. He's got 6 strikeouts and 5 walks. That's weird, wild stuff.
Upstroke of all those pitches is very little chance he's going to get too deep into this ball game tonight.
He got Nick Ahmed to chase one out of the zone in Nick's first at bat for a strikeout. I looked this up today about Nick. We talked about hitting with him on the podcast. The low point for him at the plate this year was May 11th. And that's when the batting average for Ahmed had dropped to $130. And everyone was going, all right, we know the glove is great. And he says he's going to hit, but he's shown no signs of it. But since that day, May 11th, last 38 games, how about this? He's hit over 300. He's got 4 homers, 15 RBIs. The on-base percentage since that date, May 11th, is over 360. Lifts this one out to center field, Melvin Upton Jr. So, I mean, that's more than a month of a 300 average and a 360 on-base percentage.
Doing it mostly from the number 8 spot in the lineup, which we talk about all the time is not an easy place to hit with the pitcher coming up behind you. But Nick has really come a long way since the early part of the season.
Robbie Ray. Robbie a strikeout victim his first time. Ross is now retired 5 in a row. Ruby De La Rosa, Alan Webster, Chase Anderson, and young Diamondback rotation. Patrick Corbin coming back soon. A very good start for Patrick tonight for the Mobile Bay Bears. Very encouraging. And more good news from the minor leagues on a recent pickup. Jhoulys Chacin, the former Rocky who the Diamondbacks picked up, still pitching tonight at Reno. And so far, he's working on a 2-hit shutout through 6 2/3. No walks, 6 strikeouts. He had a 9 strikeout game last time for the Aces. And Robbie Ray rolls one up the middle for a base hit.
Jake Lamb can only smile. How do you figure this guy out?
Jake Lamb has struck out twice and badly against Tyson Ross, and now he's got to watch Robbie Ray get a base hit.
Well, if Jake Lamb got pitches like that, he'd have more hits against Tyson Ross. Just a 4-seam fastball up and out over the plate.
That's a pitch that he almost never throws anymore either, Tyson Ross, that 4-seamer. AJ walked and scored his last time up. He's 0 for 1. Yeah, Ross would have that 4-seamer in the arsenal before. It used to be a pitch that he'd throw to begin an at bat, try and steal strike 1 with. But he's barely uses it anymore at all. He's kind of put it in his back pocket. Instead, he goes with that 2-seam sinking fastball because he says he feels like, you know, he can throw it and have a better margin for error with it in the strike zone. It's got that movement on it. But along the way with that, his ground ball rate has shot up. It's a career high right now, almost 62%. That's 3rd best in all of baseball. So you've got the slider going. We know about that. You add in more 2-seam sinkers, and it's a lot of strikeouts and a lot of ground ball outs for Tyson Ross. D-backs, with one or two exceptions tonight, have done a tremendous job of laying off those pitches when Ross just tries to expand the zone and get them to chase. And that was plan A here tonight, and it's worked so far with 5 walks. 2-2. It's a fastball and rolls it to shortstop. Barmes, Spangenberg. Pollock is out at first. They turn the double play. Hold on here. That was awfully close. Chip Hale, top step of the dugout. Glenn Sherlock on the phone with Alan Campbell. That was awfully close down there at first. AJ busting it up the line.
That was a very quick turn at second base, but enough time had elapsed that AJ, with his speed, normally is going to leg that out, and it looks like he did.
They are not going to challenge. So that's the end of the top of the 5th. Still 2-2. Rate, which is nearly 62%, the third best in all of baseball. He gets a big double play here with a ground ball.
Yeah, now with that two-seamer and slider, everything's moving down toward the ground. Very tough not to hit the ball on the ground against Tyson Ross, and even with AJ's speed, can't leg that one out.
So we go to the bottom of the 5th, and Corey Spangenberg, the second baseman, who had a nice turn on that double play, will lead it off against Robbie Ray. Spangenberg singled in the 3rd, stole a base, and scored on a throwing error by Wellington Castillo. Diamondbacks still have only 2 hits through 5 innings against Tyson Ross, who has walked 5 and struck out 6.
Goldie once again showing his leadership of this team. Realized that Robbie Ray was on base when that last half inning ended. Came out quickly through his warm-up pitches, and Goldie just wanted to make sure he was ready to go before getting back on that mound and attacking this Padres lineup.
Spangenberg just over 240 on the year. Here comes Jake Lamb from 3rd, and that's ball 1. Good pitch there from Robbie. Spangenberg is not hitting in this ballpark. He's batting barely over 170 at home this year and about 290 on the road. This is supposed to be a pitcher's park after all. Shows bunt that time, and it's 2-1.
Got the same reaction from the Diamondbacks defense. Not only the corner infielders charging, but watch Chris Owings at the top of your screen there. The left-handed batter a lot of times will drag that ball to the first base side of the field, try to put it between the second baseman, the first baseman, and the pitcher. So everybody in the infield was charging with the exception of Nick Ahmed.
2-2 pitch. Busted his bat in half right at the handle. Goldie has it. Ray covers, and they can't get there in time. Spangenberg runs well, beats it out. That one just kind of died in no man's land down there with a broken bat.
That'll be an infield single for Spangenberg. This is always tough because you're not sure who's going to take the ball and who's going to take the bag. Barrel of the bat goes back to the backstop. Goldie commits to the baseball, which means Robbie Ray's got to get over there quickly and find the base, but with Spangenberg's speed, he's going to win that race.
And he's at first with 6 stolen bases on the year. Here we go again. Tyson Ross, who had a sacrifice bunt his first time up, with Spangenberg aboard, will try and do the same thing here. And Jake Lamb is already halfway home at third. In these situations, Bob, I often wonder, they're trying to give you an out. We hear that all. It was in Moneyball. They're trying to give you an out. Take it. But oftentimes you see pitchers trying to get a little tricky in these situations and make it tougher on the guy. Which do you prefer?
Throw it right down the middle, preferably up a little bit.
There goes Spangenberg. The throw from Castillo is not in time. Spangenberg's second stolen base tonight, is 7th this year.
Very close. Nick Ahmed with a real fast snap tag takes that throw from Castillo, puts it right down in front of the bag, but Spangenberg just underneath the slide, I think.
Glenn Sherlock on the phone with Alan Campbell. Chip wants to challenge.
Check it.
Interesting. It looks like they had a pretty good case on that double play ball that Pollock hit. Chose not to challenge, but they'll challenge this one here. And so Gary Cederstrom, the first base umpire, the crew chief, comes in along with Pat Hoberg, the second base umpire. And it's another replay review brought to you by Mix One. We'll take another look here.
We talked about Wellington Castillo behind the plate. A lot of people say, boy, he's got a really strong arm, and he does have a good arm, but I think it's his quick release that really makes the difference for Wellington Castillo. Gets rid of that ball quickly, more often than not right on the bag.
Well, they have a brand new scoreboard here. They just showed it right now. You can see Ahmed get the glove down on the back of Spangenberg's leg, but because Nick is in front of the bag, you can't see if Spangenberg's foot is on the base. And you have to obviously you have to be able to see both the tag and the foot.
And hopefully there is an angle out there that will show that that ball was slapped on the back of his leg before his foot's on the bag. That's very close.
Clear and convincing evidence is needed. Here's one more look from a different angle. Well, it's going to be hard to overturn this one.
Well, one thing that makes it deceptive, too, if you notice, Spangenberg starts coming up out of his slide just a few inches before his lead foot hit the bag. We used to call that a pop-up slide. It gives the illusion to the umpire that you're already on the base because you're coming up out of your slide, but your foot technically isn't on the base yet.
Didn't everybody used to slide that way?
Pretty much, yeah.
Used to see that all the time, guys pop up. Now everything's head first and you're flying in there like Superman.
Out in left center field, rolling around.
Headset's coming off here from New York, and he is safe at second. So Chip Hale loses his challenge. And that's another replay review brought to you by Mix One. Call stands, which means there is not enough clear and convincing evidence to confirm the call or overturn it. So second stolen base tonight for Spangenberg, his 7th of the year. An updated look at our Mix One replay review situation this season. So Spangenberg now at second, nobody out. And a 1-1 count on Ross, the pitcher. Goldie will come well in from the bag at first now. Lamb kitty corner at third with Spangenberg at second. He bunts it to the third baseman. Lamb has one play, and Spangenberg is in at third. Second sacrifice of the ball game for Tyson Ross, who looked like he may have been trying to call timeout. Yeah, not granted by Quinn Walcott.
Boy, it puts down an absolutely perfect bunt right where you want it, to the left side of the field, make the third baseman come in and make the play. How about that?
So now the infield will have to come in with a leadoff man, Matt Kemp, coming up. And Spangenberg at third with one down. Kemp is 0 for 2. He has popped up and struck out. There's a strike, 1-1.
This is the 16th start of the season for Tyson Ross, and he has doubled his sacrifice bunt total on the season. He had 2 coming into the night. He's put down 2 already.
It's interesting because Spangenberg, who bats ahead of him in the order, has led off 2 innings, and both times he's had base hits. So the Padres able to capitalize there. Robbie Ray ahead 0-2. Kemp in the 3-game series against the D-backs at Chase Field last weekend, just 2 for 13 with 1 RBI. He was really a non-factor in that whole series. Fly ball center field. Spangenberg, good speed at third. A.J. Pollock camped out underneath, and here he comes. Good throw from A.J., and Spangenberg just does beat it. It's 3-2 San Diego. That's about as good as you could hope for from A.J. Pollock right there. He made it awfully close. RBI for Kemp, and it's 3-2 San Diego.
A.J. tried to stay as far behind that ball as he possibly could, but it carried a little farther than A.J. was expecting. Had to field it flat-footed and then tried to get as much on the throw as he could, but once again, the speed of Corey Spangenberg outruns the baseball.
Derek Norris reached on an error and scored a run. He's also doubled. Shift is on for the Diamondbacks. 3 defenders on the left-hand side. It's in there for a strike, 2-1.
CO will go back to the second base side. They're moving back and forth on the count. The count swings in the hitter's favor. He's more likely to pull the ball. If the pitcher gets ahead in the count, he's more likely to hit the ball to the opposite field. So CO running back and forth on either side of second base.
This is popped up and perfectly positioned. He pops it up right to him, but Ahmed will come in and take it. And that's the end of the inning, but the Padres take a 3-2 lead. Here's what's next, brought to you by CenturyLink. We'll see Goldie in the 6th.
changing player. Paul Goldschmidt, if you project his numbers for the rest of the season, you see those numbers on the right. The numbers on the left for Miguel Cabrera were in his Triple Crown 2012 season. And certainly Goldie's numbers would project to be a Triple Crown winner if it were not for Giancarlo Stanton and his projection of 59 homers and 147 driven in. Now, a lot can happen between now and the end of the season, so we will keep you posted.
That sounds like about $300 million worth. David Peralta, who has walked twice, leads off the sixth. Diamondback still with just 2 hits in the ball game against Tyson Ross, but he has walked 5. A Goldie 2-run single in the third, and a Robbie Ray 1-out single in the fifth. The only Diamondback hits. Peralta hits it right into the shift. Spangenberg has it, and that's the first out in the sixth. So here is Goldie. Robbie Ray's been a hitter tonight. So is this guy. Two-run single his last time up. He's now hit safely in 7 straight. Beer Fest here this weekend. There's a, dare I say, more of a buzz in the air. And we just left Denver, so they're all hopped up here. This ballpark can be a little quiet, but tonight, it's a Friday night.
Yeah, weekend's coming up.
Yeah. A little lively crowd. Ross at 95 pitches through 5 1/3.
It's that time of year here in San Diego they call the June gloom. That gray kind of overcast that normally burns off in the late morning hours and turns into what you would expect in San Diego weather-wise, but sometimes that overcast hangs around a lot longer than you would like.
All those poor people in San Diego, they have it so tough. 2-2 pitch. Called strike 3. 7 strikeouts for Tyson Ross. 2 down. And another conversation with Quinn Walcott, who's had a tough night back there.
Yes, he has. He really struggled on pitches arm side to Tyson Ross here.
Man. It was tough if you want to have this ultra patient approach with a guy like Tyson Ross, who you know is going to try and get you to chase and expand your strike zone. You got a guy back there, Quinn Walcott, who's calling everything a strike. High, low, inside, down, wherever. It's tough. There's Manny Tomas.
Are you ready for the robot umps yet?
You know what? I'm close. I have been a hardliner on that. You want replay, fine, but you're never going to get balls and strikes. But boy, a night like tonight makes you think twice about that. Middlebrooks charges this one in the hole. He throws out Tomas, and Ross has a 1-2-3-6. He's got a 3-2 lead.
today wandering around the clubhouse. I don't know if you saw this, but the players were busy filling out their all-star ballots. There it is, actually. We actually know a guy who knows a guy who got us a blank ballot. There's the front page, second page, that's the infielders. And there's where you have to vote, right? A.J. Pollock. But the players had to fill those out. As you know, the reserves and the pitchers for both squads will be determined through a combination of player ballot choices and the manager's selection. So
it has gotten fairly convoluted. That's pretty impressive that you knew a guy that could.
With a blank ballot. I'm going to Illinois, and I'm going to vote straight ticket. Okay.
Can you print up some fake ones and we can just stuff the ballots?
Well, listen, I tweeted a picture of one, and I figured if anyone was enterprising enough, right?
That way you can't be held completely responsible.
I don't know what you're talking about. check, 111.
Yeah, it's working. Yonder Alonso with a double and a single. He's got an RBI. The shift is on as he leads off the 6th against Robbie Ray. Counting on those player ballots, and Chip Hale said that this week when we were at Coors Field in Denver, that he's going to be very interested to see how Bruce Bochy and the players vote, because A.J. Pollock should be there.
You have to believe A.J. will get a lot of support from teams and managers in the National League West, because they see him on a regular basis. They know what a valuable player A.J. is and the kind of year he's having. Yeah, you might lose some votes for those teams in the Central and the East that don't get to see A.J. as much.
0-2 on Yonder Alonso. That one misses. Don't forget, fans, you can still fill out your 2015 Esurance MLB All-Star Game ballot. Right now, dbacks.com/vote, voting exclusively online this year for the fans. And you can vote on your computer, you can vote on your device, your tablet, whatever you like. You can vote on your phone. And you can vote up to 35 times for every email address you have. dbacks.com/vote is the place to go. Robbie Ray about to throw pitch number 90 here. 2-2 on Alonso. Got him. 5 strikeouts for Robbie. 1 away in the 6th.
Yeah, if you're standing in line at the DMV or at the grocery store or car wash instead of playing Angry Birds or Candy Crush, vote for AJ.
Are you one of those guys?
No.
I didn't think so.
I do have a golf game that I got recently for my iPad. That's a lot of fun.
Long flights.
Yep.
Upton 0 for 2. He has struck out twice. Boy, this is a rough stretch for Upton here. 12 punch outs in his last 23 times up. Sends it out to the right field corner. Tomas on the run, and he makes a sliding grab. Yasmani Tomas in foul ground. Another terrific defensive play by the Diamondbacks right fielder. Let's make that our Chaz Roberts air conditioning cool play of the game, and a nice cool sliding grab by Yasmani.
Once again, a long run, knowing where he is on the field, uses 2 hands as he goes into his slide to make that catch. Tell you what, not many right fielders go over there and make that catch look that easy.
Well, I did not think he was going to get to that. One more time. That's in the seats, though.
Well, we've seen his range to his right going into the gap to take extra bases away earlier in the ball game from Will Middlebrooks, and then scampers over into foul territory that time, showing his range to his left.
And that's really impressive. Yeah, the ball that Middlebrooks hit to lead off the second was deep in the gap in right center, right in the alley. This was the play that led off the second inning for the Padres. Look at Tomas go get it. Look at this line to the ball. Right there. And now a sliding grab to the other side in foul ground. And it's a 1-1 count on Middlebrooks, who was twice flying out to Tomas. Robbie at 95 pitches, 58 strikes. Nothing going on in the Diamondback bullpen. A fly ball to center field. AJ's there. How about Yasmani Tomas? Get your Rookie of the Year votes handy.
Takes an extra base hit away from Middlebrooks there. And robs one against Upton in foul ground right here. D-backs trail at 3-2 after 6.
Geico, this day in Major League Baseball history, we go back to June 26, 1983. Rusty Staub tied the single-season record with his 8th consecutive pinch hit. This is June 26th. He's got the rest of the season to go. He's already got 8 in a row. Le Grand Orange. I can't say it like you do. You got that French thing going. But boy, could he hit.
He's a fun player to watch. I love watching the old games with Rusty Staub.
We talk about a guy that really went to a role, really accepted the role of being a pinch hitter and being a good one.
Well, he was a Colt 45 for a long time. New pitcher for the Padres, Brandon Maurer, who had an 11-outing scoreless streak going until yesterday. He pitched at San Francisco in their game there yesterday. Gave up 2 runs on 4 hits in only 2/3 of an inning. So a rough night yesterday for Maurer at AT&T Park, and he's out here for the 2nd straight day. Jake Lamb happy to see Tyson Ross gone. He's 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts. Rusty Staub played on that great '73 Met team that went to the World Series, and he was injured, I think, during the postseason, and they didn't quite have the same firepower they had in that series against Oakland. But he played in Detroit for a long time, Montreal for a long time, where he really was Le Grand Orange. Howard throws hard. 2-2 to Lamb. How about this? Only active baseball player strike out in every at-bat versus one guy with at least 8 appearances. Of course, he got hit on the foot in one at-bat in the last game. The shift is on. He hits away from the shift. Middlebrooks throws him out, and that's the first out here in the 7th. Rusty Staub used to wear those high socks and a dark black batting glove all the time. That curly orange hair sticking out.
Rusty Staub probably looks more like Youppi than any other player that's ever played Major League Baseball.
Here we go on Youppi again.
Seems appropriate that he played in Montreal.
You know what? You make a fair point. Castillo 0 for 2.
Hey, good stuff by Todd Walsh with Mark Grace in the pregame show, by the way, today. Ted Giannoulis, the San Diego Chicken.
I saw that. What was going on?
Oh, I mean, well, Todd was getting rid of some of the junk from his garage. You know, he had a Gracie autographed bobblehead, and was talking to Mark Grace about Ted Giannoulis because he was really the first. And I was fortunate enough to be around the San Diego Chicken, and he would come in the clubhouse before the ball game, dressed as a civilian. Now, who's this guy? What's he doing in our clubhouse? Well, it turned out to be the Chicken. And he would talk to the catcher, and he'd talk to the first baseman and other guys that were involved in his shtick during the game, and kind of give you a heads up of what he was going to do, and take your temperature to feel, do you have a good sense of humor? Can I have fun with you, or are you too serious? Should I do it somewhere else?
That's actually very thoughtful of him.
Yeah, and Gracie, I'm sure he played first base many times when the San Diego Chicken was in the house.
Now, didn't he start out as a mascot for a radio station?
I believe that's right, yeah. Gracie was talking about it before the game, KGB radio maybe, and his sponsored name changed a few times, but everybody knows him as the San Diego Chicken.
There's Owings. Lions one right to Spangenberg at second, and Mauer works at 1-2-3-7. We stretch at Petco Park. Diamondbacks trail at 3-2. Is brought to you in part by Oregano's Pizza Bistro, your neighborhood pizza joint. We are athletic supporters. And by Card Power from Arizona Federal Credit Union. Now that's the power of us. There we are, Petco Park, right on the water here in San Diego. Steve Berthew, Bob Brenly, and Todd Walsh with you. D-backs fans with us here at Petco Park. They trail at 3-2 as we start the bottom of the 7th inning. With the new pitcher for the Diamondbacks, it's big Enrique Burgos, his 15th appearance this year.
To steal a college football term, the D-backs travel well to San Diego. A lot of the fans come over here to Southern California for a series when the Diamondbacks are in town, and we've seen a lot of Sedona Reds scattered around.
When it's 115 at home, the June gloom looks pretty good.
We'll take some clouds.
So Burgos on in relief of Robbie Ray. Robbie went 6 innings, gave up 3 runs, only 2 were earned. 5 hits, no walks, and 5 strikeouts. And Clint Barmas will lead off the San Diego 7th against Enrique Burgos. Fly ball to left field. David Peralta runs that one down for the first out. Fox Sports Supports proud to team up with Boys and Girls Clubs of America. Boys and Girls Clubs help young people reach their full potential as productive, caring, and responsible citizens through programs that promote character, leadership, education, healthy lifestyles, and a whole lot more. For more information, you can visit foxsportsupports.com. Melvin Upton Jr. He has grounded out and struck out 0 for 2.
He's on the short end of the stick right now, but another solid outing from Robbie Ray.
Yeah, the only thing that really hurt him were the errors behind him.
Yeah, the errors in that first inning of play, and the throwing error by Wellington Castillo in the 3rd inning. A couple of base hits by the number 8 hitter, a couple of stolen bases by that number 8 hitter, a couple sack bunts by the pitcher behind him. But he really handled the middle of this Padres lineup with ease tonight.
Struck out Justin Upton twice, got Middlebrooks to fly out 3 times. Had no problems with Kemp at all, although Kemp did drive in a run with a sacrifice fly. Two and one. Boy, this guy's just a mess, an absolute mess. And I don't know, is it fixable, you think?
Well, I think enough time has elapsed that if it was going to be fixed, it would have been fixed by now. At least for some period of time, you would like to think that this guy was an elite player in the game, and it just like everything has deserted him.
Hard to short. Nick Ahmed smothers it. Tough play for Nick, and he makes it. Throws out Upton. What a play by the D-backs shortstop. Laying out to get that one. Get up and deliver a strong throw to Goldie. Look at that.
He's fully extended. I mean, it was not a dive for show. That was a dive because he had to keep the ball out of the outfield, and still quick enough to get to his feet and plenty of arm to fire across the infield for that out.
And the ironic thing about tonight's game is we've seen so many great defensive plays. 2 by Tomas, that one by Nick Ahmed, but it's been the errors that have really hurt them tonight. And Spangenberg, Bob, as you mentioned, has been involved in all of that. So far, 2 for 2, a pair of singles, 2 stolen bases, and 2 runs scored. Take a look at the 2 errors. The first one, the Goldie error in the first.
That was a bad hop right there. It just really came up, and then Wellington Castillo was paced to get that ball down to third base. Ticked off of Jake Lamb's glove, got by Nick Ahmed, and by the time David Peralta could fire home, Spangenberg had scored.
That one's in there for a strike, 2-1.
It's tough to argue the Wellington Castillo error. You know, he was trying to rush his throw, a fast runner trying to steal third, but that one with Goldie at first, it looks to me, every time I see it, it looks like a worse hop. Really came up. I mean, Goldie just doesn't miss 2 hoppers down there at first base.
This one is along the left field line, but it's fine. I think what hurt Goldie on the scoring decision was that he didn't have to really move his feet at all. It was hit right at him hard, no question.
Played it on the backhand side. I'm sure he'll tell you I should have made the play, but definitely took a squirrely bounce there at the end.
And you saw Nick Ahmed on the throwing error by Castillo, where he was supposed to be backing up, but he just kind of overran it as he caromed off something and rolled to the left field. There's a little spinning roller that Lamb has to charge. How about that throw? And he got him. Jake Lamb at third. The Diamondback infield turning some beauties here. Pat Murphy on the top step of his dugout. This is the spin on that ball is really going to be tough. Glenn Hoffman is down at third, barking at Quinn Wolcott, the plate umpire. And I think they're going to put the headsets on here. And again, Spangenberg runs really well. Yeah, he's in there.
Yeah, beat that. Boy, what a great play by Jake Lamb.
Another replay review brought to us by Mix One. Terrific play by Jake Lamb. It's a plus defender at third.
Moving forward, the Diamondbacks are in pretty good shape defensively. I think fans are really going to enjoy what they see with the leather from this ball club, not only with the guys on the field right now, but some of the guys that are going to be joining in the future.
Yeah, you've got, we talked about this the other day, so many young infielders coming up. You add Dansby Swanson from Vanderbilt, you get Goslin from Atlanta. They've got Brandon Drury at Reno right now, just got called up to Reno. A few pretty clear and convincing looks at that one. Yeah. Gary Cedarstrom, the crew chief, was the umpire who made the call at first. He's on the left there with his arms folded. listening to New York. And he is safe at first. Padres win the challenge. The out call overturned. And that's 3 for 3 for Spangenberg here with Jose Valentin. Now you got the pitcher spot coming up. Will Venable will take the at-bat. Another replay review brought to you by Mix One. The updated standings there. The Diamondbacks have lost their challenge. Pat Murphy retains his. And Mike Harkey on the mound. Will Venable. As Ted Leitner says, we'll find out.
Dangerous hitter, Will Venable. He hasn't been great in these situations. Only 1 for 16 as a pinch hitter, but getting a lot more playing time with Will Myers on the disabled list, starting to get that average as a regular player back up, hitting .264 with 5 homers and 20 driven in, but only 1 for 16 as a pinch hitter.
5 homers on the year. He has been a tough out for the D-backs this season. He had a home run at Chase Field May 8th against Jeremy Hellickson. 9 hits in 21 at-bats against the Diamondbacks this year. And remember, Spangenberg down there at first has already stolen 2 bags tonight.
Every time I see Will Venable, I think of John Van Orn, who was my manager when I was in A-ball in Fresno, California. As you see the numbers for Venable, home and road, much better on the road. And John Van Orn called our team together in August. Hot Fresno, California, middle of August. We were scuffling. And he called the entire team together in the middle of the infield, had us sit down on the grass, and just read us the riot. We were playing terrible. And he said, you know, he looked around, he said, there's only one prospect in the whole Cal League this year, and he ain't sitting in this infield. And the one prospect he was talking about was Will Venable's father, Max, who was a center fielder for the Dodgers at that time in the minor leagues. Went on to have a career with several teams in the big leagues. He was my roommate for a couple of years with the San Francisco Giants. But every time I see young Will Venable, I think of his father, Max, and John Van Ornum.
And Max Venable started in '79 as a rookie with the Giants. Played 12 years in the big leagues. 1-1 pitch is way outside. 2 balls and a strike.
I mean, you can imagine back in those days, you had a manager and a trainer.
That's hard to believe, isn't it?
No pitching coach, no hitting coach, no first base coach, no third base coach. The manager did everything. He threw batting practice for an hour and a half every day in the Cal League. And one day, John Van Ornum had just had enough.
I suppose that happens. Spangenberg bluffs at first. Venable swings through that one, and it's 2-2. I would imagine you all felt pretty depressed about that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we knew we were playing bad. And quite honestly, we didn't have very many good players on the team to begin with, but we thought maybe one of us might make it to the big leagues. But there's only one prospect in the whole league.
Well, we know at least one of you made it. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Spangenberg at first. Runner holds. That's in the dirt. It's full.
stat on the big board here at Petco Park. Kind of surprising. All-time home runs here at Petco Park. Adrian Gonzalez is atop the list with 62, but Will Venable in second place with 40.
That is odd, considering we just showed you earlier in this at bat. He's got 5 homers this year. 4 of them have come on the road. Spangenberg will be off with a pitch at first. There he goes. Here it is. Popped him up. Jake Lamb wants it. And that's the end of the inning. Diamondbacks with only 2 hits so far. We go to the 8th. They trail it 3-2.
Out the chicken, Ted Gianola from the old KGB radio days back here in St. Louis. Randy Johnson does not remember this moment. I asked him, do you remember going out to arm wrestle and then tearing the wing off the bird? He said, no, I don't. But we do because we have the evidence of it. And Bob, you mentioned that I'm getting rid of some of the junk in my garage, and I do have an autographed Mark Grace bobblehead that I'm actually going to wander through the gas lamp talking to myself. And if someone comes up to me tonight and says I'm a Zoni, they might get that. But if that's junk, Bob, I'm wondering what you're going to call the Bob Brenly bobblehead that I'm giving away on one of these Throwback Thursdays.
I'm sorry, giving away?
Yeah, at some point we'll move it.
That's a high,
we'll move
Todd,
it.
that's a high value item there.
Yeah, it's okay. Junk.
You could probably get, I don't know, a quarter for that if you auctioned it off.
Oh, you wait and see what I do with that.
No comment now. My concern is that we're in the middle of a beer festival here, as Joaquin Benoit's on for the 8th. And your plan after the ball game is to wander the streets of the Gaslamp District talking to yourself with a bobblehead dog.
And a camera and my producer, Brian P. Henry, in tow. How do you think that's going to play out here tonight?
What could happen?
News at 11. We're film at 11.
High fly ball to Upton in center. Ahmed's over for 3.
It should have been a foreshadowing, Randy ripping the arm off the San Diego chicken.
I've never seen that. That's hilarious.
For what he did to the Dove down at Tucson Electric Park a few years later.
I have a feeling that's going to come up in the Hall of Fame speech. Aaron Hill will hit for the pitcher.
He obviously does not like birds.
Bullpen busy, David Hernandez. Oliver Perez stretching as well. So here's Aaron Hill. He'll hit for Enrique Burgos. Aaron, 224 this season and 3 homers. D-backs still have only 2 hits in the ball game, and one of them came from this spot, Robbie Ray's single in the 5th. The other was the Goldie 2-run single in the 3rd, and that's been it. Most of their base runners, with their new patient plan approach against Tyson Ross, came on Ross walks. He walked 5. A fly ball to right center field. Upton and Kemp, it'll be Melvin. 2 down. Fans, baseball is in full swing. Hello. And it's happening all around us, so grab a Pepsi and some friends and get out to a D-backs game and live it. It's for the thrill of the game. Pepsi, live for now. The official soft drink of the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Did we mention it's Beer Fest?
Next couple of innings might get interesting. A.J. Pollock walked and scored a run. He's 0 for 2. It is Beer Fest.
Hold up your fake mustache. Slug down some suds.
Sparty on. One and one. AJ has never really hit a ton in this ballpark. Of course, he was hurt a lot of last year and missed a series or two here. Not a huge sample size. He's only played 14 games at Petco Park, but he's hit .211 here coming in.
I think that's more a byproduct of the opposing pitchers he's faced rather than just the ballpark itself.
8 hits, 5 of them though here are for extra bases, so he's found some gaps on occasion. 1-2 pitch from Joaquin Benoit. Bounce to Barmes at shortstop. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th. A frustrated Diamondback offense tonight. They trail at 3-2. Cox Gig Life high-speed highlights. David Hernandez on from the Diamondback bullpen to work the bottom of the 8th inning. With the top of the order up, Matt Kemp. Diamondbacks only 2 hits. They trail the Padres 3-2. As they always do here at Petco Park. Between the top and the bottom of the 8th innings, they play some Top Gun on the new scoreboard they got out there. Everybody gets all fired up. You've lost that love and feeling, Bob Brennan. They play that scene from the movie Top Gun. Goose and Maverick are singing at Kelly McGillis. Everybody joins in. 30,000 people singing that song right here in the ballpark.
That scene actually took place right down the street from our hotel.
Yeah, our bus drives by that place every time. I've wanted to go in there, but haven't got around to it yet. Talk to me, Goose. 1-0. This is well hit down the left field line. That's a fair ball. It rolls into the corner. And Kemp will pull up at second base with his 50th double.
Like a David Hernandez slider that just kind of hung up over the middle of the plate right there, speeding up Kemp's bat enough that he's able to pull one down into that left field corner for a double.
Brings up Derek Norris, who doubled in the third.
A lot of number 2 hitters around baseball in this particular situation. You'd expect him to either bunt that runner up or hit an easy ground ball to the right side to move him up. Derek Norris has none of that in his mind right now.
6 of his 9 home runs this year have come right here at Petco Park. He looks like Evan Gattis up there. That was a good comp by you. El Oso Blanco, the white bear. Evan Gattis is just destroying Houston these days.
Anytime you see the catcher react like that with a runner at second base, there's been a missed sign. Wellington was expecting a fastball. Oh,
man. Brace yourself.
occasionally you can get lucky and make an adjustment if you're expecting a fastball and the pitcher throws something off speed. And that time Wellington was able to catch that pitch even though he wasn't looking for it. If you're looking for an off-speed pitch and a guy throws 195, it's going to hit somebody, either you or the umpire.
I was going to say, most of the time I bet it's the umpire. That's a strike. Diamondback Live post-game show follows our ball game. Todd Walsh will have reaction from the clubhouse. Tight ball game here, 3-2 in the eighth. Were you catching when the umps wore those big mattress chest protectors?
Some of them did, yeah. A few of the umpires still were using the outside chest protector, the big inflatable air mattress, yeah.
And they'd have those suit coats on. I think the American League guys wore red ones.
Yeah.
And they have those big chest protectors back there, those inflatable ones. Much more streamlined look now these days.
Not quite as protected as the old ones used to, but
yeah, I wouldn't imagine. 2-2 pitch. Just did get a piece of it. Take a look at our Chevron upcoming pitching matchup for tomorrow's ball game. We'll have it for you right here on Fox Sports Arizona. Diamondback Live pregame show at 6:30, 7:10 first pitch. Jeremy Hellickson and Andrew Kashner, who really had a rough time at his start Sunday at Chase Field. And Jeremy is good to go. Had to leave that ball game after tweaking something in his back at the plate on a swing, but he threw a bullpen at Coors Field in Denver just fine. The MRI was clean, so he's good to go. It was a rough 7-run second inning against Kashner last Sunday at Chase.
We had that shot of Jeremy Hellickson sitting in the Diamondbacks dugout on the third base side. Look at Jared Saltalamacchia's eyes. He's watching the runner at second. He's watching the guy on the mound. He's watching the runner at second, then picks up the hitter, just to make sure that runner at second base is not relaying anything to the batter at the plate.
And a lot of eyes on you out there. The pop-up that's drifting into the seats and out of play.
Well, just because you're not in the lineup on a given night doesn't mean you can't help your team win a ball game. You know, Salty's been behind the plate calling pitches and watching the runners at second base, watching it from that vantage point. But just because he's not in the game doesn't mean he can't still be plugged into the game over there on the bench.
Ongoing conversation with Jeremy Hellickson. Kemp at second, 2-2 on Derek Norris. Well, you had that. And it's interesting that this happens against the Padres because you'll remember you caught Will Myers giving signs from second base earlier this year.
Well, it could have been a coincidence, but he had every pitch right in the next 2 at-bats from second base.
So I guess you're looking for a signal. Is he touching the top of his head?
Starting his lead off with 1 foot on a fastball, the other foot on an off-speed pitch. Are his hands on his hips or off his hips? Does he get down in a crouch like that, ready to run to the next base, or is he standing straight up? There's a lot of different ways to relay it to the hitter.
Well, Hernandez wins the battle. He strikes out Norris for the first out here in the 8th. Brings up Yonder Alonso. Well, we got good pitching news from the minor leagues, fans. Patrick Corbin pitching for Mobile, former Rocky Jolie Chacin for Reno in AAA. And look at these numbers. Corbin, 6 innings of 4-hit ball for the Bay Bears. He looked really good, apparently. 5 strikeouts, he only walked 2. And Chacin has put up some really good numbers for Phil Nevett at Reno this year.
Yeah, he had a shutout going through the first 8 innings of that ball game.
Yonder Alonso, 2 for 3. A double and a single. He's got an RBI. Alonso's now hit safely in 5 straight and 9 of his last 10. So he's starting to get it cranked up. Their leading hitter. He's now at 323 on the year. David Hernandez working hard here to try and strand that leadoff double. Bounce to second. Owings is there. Kemp will get into third. 2 down. Fans, this July, baseball's best gather in Cincinnati. The Midsummer Classic home field advantage for the World Series is on the line. Coverage of the 2015 MLB All-Star Game starts July 14th at 4 o'clock on Fox and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. From Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati, Mike Harkey out to the mound now. In fact, the whole infield will join him out there. Of course, Perez stretching out there in the bullpen.
Of course, at the All-Star Game, they also have the Futures Game. A couple Diamondbacks farm hands are going to be there. Socrates Brito from Mobile, and you're going to have to help me here. Wei Shea Guang.
Fine, from Taiwan.
Yeah.
He's had an unbelievable season at Kane County. Really good numbers there.
And 5 starts with the Cougars. He's 3-0 with an ERA under 1, 0.85. Opponents hitting only .209 against him. So it'll be fun to watch some D-backs play in that Futures Game as well.
That's a great event. I got to do that one year when they were in Kansas City. You really do get a look at some guys who are very close to the major leagues. Matt Kemp is at third, 2 down, and Justin Upton is the hitter. He's 0 for 3. He has struck out twice. By the way, fans, if you ever want to check the stats on some of the Diamondback minor leaguers, there's a great website that you can go to, MILB.com. MILB.com. Craig Kimbrell in the bullpen. And basically anything you want to know about any minor league team at any level is on there. So you can go on and click teams, and it shows you the Diamondbacks, and then you can click on Reno, Mobile, Visalia, wherever you want. And all the stats are on there. And if you look at Kane County, the Kane County Cougars, that pitcher Huang, I'm probably not pronouncing the name right, but boy, he's really been good.
Up numbers. We knew Patrick Corbin was pitching tonight. We knew Jhoulys Chacin was pitching tonight. So I just went to the Diamondbacks website, went to the roster page, pulled up affiliates, and down the right side of the page, you can go to the individual websites of the minor league affiliates. Some of them are televised, some of them are on the radio. Most of them have the Game Day app that you can follow along with the game. Yeah, that's for sure. If I can do it, anybody can do it.
That was the truck chiming in on that one. Well, you're wired up, man. You got mission control going on over there. I used to always watch Michael's games when he was playing for Portland. 2-1 pitch.
That means some of these minor league affiliates have a regular setup. They've got cameras all around the ballpark and field mics and all kinds of stuff. And other places, it's more of a shoestring budget.
Well, the Bay Bears have a great website, and Melanie Newman, who is the online sideline reporter down in Mobile, she does all these one-on-one interviews with the Bay Bears players that are up there posted online if you want to watch. Keep an eye on all the Diamondback minor leaguers. 2-2, 2 outs. Back to the mound. David Hernandez makes a leaping grab, but he throws it away, and Kemp scores. 4-2 Padres. There was little chance he was going to be able to throw out Justin Upton there. A nice athletic play by David, but not a great decision. And Upton will get second base.
Yeah, it's just an instinctive play by David Hernandez. He knew if he didn't get the out at first, the run was going to score from third base, so he gives it the best effort he possibly can. Nice diving stop, throws from the seat of his pants. Unfortunately, it looked like he didn't have a good grip on the baseball, and it sails into the bleachers on the right side.
Well, that goes in the books as an RBI single for Justin Upton. E1 puts Upton at second base on the throw by Hernandez. The Diamondbacks' third error tonight, and every error has cost them a run. And they trail at 4-2. Upton at second, still 2 outs. Will Middlebrooks is up. One and two.
Good slider that time from David Hernandez.
That has the same vertical drop that Ross's one does, doesn't it? The slider. He punches out Middlebrooks. They strand Upton, but the Padres add a run. We go to the ninth. Looks like Craig Kimbrell is coming in. It's 4-2 San Diego. July 18th, you'll get this exclusive item, the A.J. Pollock Star Wars bobblehead, courtesy of Cox Communications. Get your tickets right now at dbacks.com. Ninth inning at Petco Park, and the closer is on for the Padres. Craig Kimbrell, 18 saves and 19 chances this year. He is 7th in the National League in saves. He'll work to the heart of the order, the sharp end of the stick for the Diamondbacks. Peralta, Goldie, Tomas, 2, 3, and 4 in the Arizona ninth. Of course, that one blown save, you'll remember, came against the Diamondbacks at Chase Field. And Danny Dorn had that 2-strike, 2-out pinch hit double that tied the ball game and forced extras against Kimbrel. Here's Danny Dorn, California native. Peralta leads it off. He has walked twice and grounded out 0 for 1. Padres do not put the shift on for Peralta. They play him fairly straight away, although Spangenberg is back deep out on the grass in rain. 96 misses from Kimbrel, 1-0.
It's funny because we used to call this a shift.
I know, you got Middlebrooks over halfway toward the second base bag.
Yeah, and the shortstop cheating up the middle of the field a little bit.
How times have changed.
Yeah, this used to be a shift.
Shoots it out to left center field. Justin Upton runs it down in the gap. One away. Here's Goldie. Diamondbacks have had some pretty good luck against this guy, both in Atlanta and now in San Diego. Goldie has gotten one of the 2 Diamondback hits tonight, a 2-run single in the 3rd. Bobby Ray's single, the pitcher, was the only other Diamondback hit. Kimbrel with that signature hanging arm as he leans in for the sign. Right there, that chicken wing. "97 miles an hour" is fouled off, and it's 1-1 for Goldie, who has never hit against this guy and really hasn't had any luck at all. I don't imagine this is a fun at bat for anybody. Maybe Danny Dorn, that's about it.
Yeah.
Drives it out to right. Kemp broke back, now comes in. And that's the second out. Yasmani Tomas, last man standing. Tomas has made 2 outstanding defensive plays in right field tonight. He's hitless at the plate. He walked in the second and it was thrown out attempting to steal. He's 0 for 2. Diamondback Live post-game show right after our ball game. Reaction from the clubhouse with Todd. All 1. 98. This is about, I know it's Beer Fest, but this is as into it as I think I've seen a Padre crowd. There's about 30,000 here tonight, and they're making a lot of noise. They've not had a lot to cheer about lately. The Padres have lost 12 of their last 18. If they hang on and win this one, it will snap a little 2-game skid for them. And they'll stay 6.5 back of the Dodgers, who won in Miami today. Kimbrel's behind 3-0. D-backs will drop 6 back of LA. And there's the 4-pitch walk to Tomas. So the tying run comes up to the plate. It's Jake Lamb.
That pitch is actually a lot better than the one that was called a strike on Chris Owens earlier in the ball game, but you'll take that base on balls to bring the potential tying run to the plate.
Quinn Walcott has not had a good night behind the plate. Lamb 0 for 3.
Tying run at the plate, 2 down. There goes Yasmani. Lamb swings through a 98-mile-an-hour fastball as Tomas picks up 90 feet. Defensive indifference is the scoring decision there. And now Jake's really in trouble, down 0-2. Kimbrel just firing 97 and 98 in there consistently. Oh, and 2. Missed away.
We've seen that one called a strike tonight as well. Just flipping a coin back there.
Got him. Padres take the series opener 4-2 as the fireworks go off at Petco Park. And the Diamondbacks drop their second straight. Now 3 games under 500.
You love the game plan that they had offensively going in.